This is 46 West 21st Street, the former headquarters of Workers' World Party. So I was affiliated with the party from 1963 to 1967. I'd learned about it actually because Jackson McLough gave me their name, and I was already visiting New York to make contact with the so-called avant-garde, and I began exploring the left in New York while I was down here, and got to know the people at Workers' World. And in I think it was May of 1963, I moved to New York to affiliate with the party. I must say that I feel a lot more sympathy today for, the announced aims, or the ostensible point of the organization that I do for the so-called avant-garde. I mean, today I think that the avant-garde was a hoax. I mean, there are none of its stated purposes that that I think demand any dedication today. But this is quite another matter. I mean, if we talk about the stated purposes, I mean, if we talk about the question of whether there is an economic system beyond capitalism, that's an unsolved problem, which I've spent a great deal of time after I studied economics, or while I was studying economics, working on that question. I think it's arcane and profound. My memory of those 5 years in the mid-60s is upbeat. Have no grudges against the organization, and I'm glad that my introduction to social studies came from this unusual sort of marginal standpoint of irreconcilable opposition to the status quo. I mean, I like the fact that I began my studies of social questions from that vantage point. Having said all of that, if you judge them by their announced goals and so forth and so on, it's a disaster in just about every respect. I mean, if we jump cut to right now, their newspaper consists in many cases what I would call set pieces of articles which are just intended to be reassuring to any liberal, or to be in the comfort zone of any liberal. Like right now they're talking about commemorating the civil rights struggle of 50 years ago. And of course that's very easy for them to say, and I mean they can assume that some large audience will be comfortable for that, but it certainly does not need this organization with its baggage and its sectarian craziness and so forth and so on to say that. I mean, it's actually preposterous. If I understand correctly, they now support Saddam Hussein on the grounds of sort of anything but the United States. And of course, he or the fundamentalists are so far removed from the original definition of the goals of socialism and so forth that it's just, it becomes preposterous. Marx's most important piece of Marx and Engels, in my opinion, is the March 1950, the address of March 1950. I think it's far more important than the Communist Manifesto in terms of saying where they were actually coming from. It totally discredits any notion of Marxist humanism. I mean, they were profoundly anti-humanist, profoundly, and in effect, they say so. I was never told that that piece existed when I was in this organization. I'm not sure that the people here even knew about it. I mean, I'm not sure that they knew about anything important. I mean, they were totally incapable of teaching capital. I tried to read it, and at that time I couldn't really get into it. I mean, it wasn't really making sense to me for reasons that I won't go into, but I mean, they were completely unequipped to give me any help with it. So this was all, you know, a castle in the air. I mean, there was no foundation here. I mean, they presupposed that the Soviet Union had the magic formula for the, you know, the glistening economic system of the future.